All right, first up today is Auburn quarterback Jarrett Stidham. We'll open for question and answer. Again, if you'll raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you, and we'll take questions at this time. You raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. We'll go right over here on the end of the third row, right side.
Jarrett, what do you make of last year's team beating the two teams that played for the national title and then losing 4 other games? Is it just a matter of putting it all together and being more consistent this year?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it right on the head. I think consistency is just the main thing. Obviously, we beat both teams that played in the national title game and lost some other games. But it is what it is. It's in the past, and we're using last season being so close as motivation for this year, and we're really looking forward to this year.
We'll go right over here, the camera platform right in the middle.
Jarrett, the start of last year, kind of a bit of a slow start for the offense. Where are you guys at comfortability-wise now, year 2, with Chip calling the plays?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be really good for us this year. Obviously, like you said, at the beginning of the year last year, started slow, kind of sluggish. We're still kind of trying to figure out what we were going to be best at. I was trying to figure out Coach Lindsey, him and Coach Malzahn were trying to figure out who I was as a player, and I think throughout the season, we kind of saw, a progression, week to week, and this summer obviously has been really big for us, and we got a lot of guys coming back, especially at the skill position. So I think we're gonna be kind of hitting on close to all cylinders, more so at the beginning of the season rather than wait until halfway or to the end of the season.
Go to the camera platform in the very back, towards the right.
Jarrett, you had a little bit of a busy off season, both personally and I guess on the field as well. Just talk about your engagement and how exciting that was there July 4th weekend for you.
Yeah, no, it was something I've been looking forward to. I had it planned, I guess since May. So obviously, really looking forward to that, and proposed and everything, and obviously a big personal decision. Something I've kind of dreamed about for a long time. So it's been good. On the field, it's been a great summer. Guys are working really hard. So overall, it's been a really good summer, and we're wrapping it up here, pretty soon, and we'll get into fall camp.
Go down here on the front row to the right side on the aisle.
Morning, Jarrett. Jarrett, have you had a chance to look at University of Washington and their defense?
I have. I've watched quite a bit of film on them already. Obviously, they're a great team. They're going to be a top 10 team. Game 1, and it's going to be a great challenge for us, and I'm really looking forward to it.
If you got any other questions, raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Right back here, right side on the aisle.
Jarrett, in particular, the LSU game last year, what did you guys take away from that experience, and what about them coming to your place this year for the SEC opener?
Yeah, no, I think, anytime you're up 20 points on the road in Death Valley, you're feeling pretty good, and then, all of a sudden it turned the wrong way, and I think they scored 23 unanswered points, and it was just it was a tough game to swallow, honestly. But I don't think we would have been in the position at the end of the season if we hadn't lost that game. From a leadership standpoint, we got together after that game, and we kind of had to turn around the season, because that was the lows of the low, for us and the team and all the players, coaching staff, support staff. I mean, it was a pretty low point, in the locker room after that game, but. The next day we came to work and watched the film, got better, and we hit that run from that game on. So I don't think, I try not to look at it from a negative aspect. I try to look at it from a positive standpoint, and what we learned from that game. And I don't think, like I said, we would have been in the position to play in the SEC championship without losing that game.
Go here to the left side on the front row in the middle.
Jarrett, a couple of questions. Is it kind of hard to believe that just about a year and a half ago or so you were in junior college taking that year off, and now here you are at SEC Media Days? And then second part, could you spend some time talking about that year that you took off and what you did, what you maybe learned, how you progressed?
Yeah, no, it's kind of surreal. I know, I said it after the Iron Bowl last year. At that point, a year before then, I was sitting on a couch watching the game, not practicing. working out on my own, working out with 15 and 16-year-olds at a high school, running the scout offense for the varsity defense. So, I've come a long way, and I think that year, you don't sometimes. I don't think you appreciate what you have until you don't have it, and that's kind of what football meant to me at that moment. I just appreciated it a little bit more, and how blessed I am to be able to play the great game of football. And it's just it was a humbling experience to have to go through something like that, because I don't know of anybody that's ever had to just take a year off, work out on their own, work out with a high school team that you don't know anybody at, that kind of thing. So it was a very humbling experience, but it is pretty surreal just to kind of look back on everything and see how far I've come.
Go over here to the right side, standing in the back.
Jarrett, Rick Carley, Fox 6 in Birmingham. It's early, but your name is popping up on Heisman watch lists. Do you embrace those kind of expectations, or do you shudder at them, or how do you treat that when you hear that kind of
No,
stuff?
I think, it is what it is. Everybody's going to have their own opinion of, this player being this good or that player being that good, or what they should be on or what they shouldn't be on. Honestly, right now, I'm just worried about, being the best quarterback for the Auburn Tigers and being the best quarterback for those guys that I play with. That's all, I'm really concerned about, and that's all I'm going to be concerned about for the season.
Go down here to the aisle on the front row.
Jarrett, how much different are you as a quarterback now that you have a full year under your belt starting in this league, and what's the biggest, I guess, confidence factor for you heading into this season?
Yeah, no, I feel, coming from, I guess, this time last year, I hadn't played in a while, and now that I have a full season, in the toughest conference in college football, it gives you a little bit of an edge, moving forward. Coming back from my second season, feel much more comfortable, obviously with the offense, with Coach Malzahn, with Coach Lindsey, with the receivers, with the running back, everybody. The entire system as a whole. I feel like I've got a good grasp on it, and I'm just really looking forward to this year and seeing what we can do.
We'll go over here on the right side, standing.
Jarrett, you came to Auburn with a good base skill set, but what aspect of your game do you feel like you've sharpened the most in your first year?
I think the biggest thing for me was just mentally. My freshman year at Baylor, I was kind of just thrown in the fire. I was the backup, and then Seth Russell got hurt, and I had to kind of just jump in and roll in the middle of the season and the toughest part of the season. And so it was just kind of a whirlwind looking back on it. But being at Auburn, I was able to kind of sit down and mentally look at things, look at defenses, in more of a strategic way, really figure out what we're doing on offense, what we're looking for, what coverage, what front, that kind of thing. So I think mentally is kind of the biggest thing that I've learned since being at Auburn.
Go over here to the left side, all the way to the end of the second row.
Jarrett, kind of piggybacking on Ross's question, have you thought about how many guys are basically recruited at the top, the most powerful offense in the country at that time, Baylor, and then end up at a place like Auburn playing for an SEC championship? I don't know what you can add to that, but it just occurred to me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to look back on. Obviously, I want to say my freshman year we were number 1, number 3, number 4, somewhere in there, in total offense. And so, I wanted to go somewhere, when I decided to transfer that, we would be an explosive offense. And, sure enough, Coach Malzahn, it kind of speaks for himself. But, his track record is really, really good, not only in the SEC, but when he was at Tulsa and even back to when he coached high school. So it was, I thought it was a good fit, and, I just wanted to try to come in and help the team.
We'll go to the front row of the camera platform, right in the middle.
You're one of a pretty good group of quarterbacks in the SEC this season. Can you just speak to the depth of the starting QBs in the league, and maybe how that makes you step your game up to match them?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great group of quarterbacks. I was fortunate, enough this summer to go to the Elite 11 finals and be a camp counselor, and then go to the Manning Passing Academy. And so I've met pretty much everybody, especially within the SEC. And a good friend of mine is Drew Locke. We go way back from to high school, so we've known each other for a really long time. Obviously, he's one of the top guys in the league, top guys in the country. And, I think it's a well-rounded out group. And yeah, I mean, it makes you want to step up and, compete a little bit better and see what you can do to win some ball games.
We'll go standing over here in the back on the left side.
Jarrett, whenever you're at McLennan looking for a place to transfer, how hard did Kevin Sumlin come at you trying to get you to go from McLennan just down the road, and how close were you to coming to A&M at one point?
Honestly, Coach Sumlin, he didn't recruit me too hard. I probably tried to recruit myself to A&M a little bit harder, just because it was in state, it was right down the road from where I was, there in Waco. So. And I had some family go to A&M before. So, I mean, ideally, A&M was a close spot. I could see my family kind of whenever I wanted, and that kind of thing. But, at the end of the day, I honestly kind of knew from the get-go that I was probably going to end up at Auburn, regardless of going through the recruiting process again or not. I think I kind of knew that Auburn was the spot for me, and sure enough, it worked out.
Go to the camera position right in the middle on the front row.
You mentioned going to the Manning Passing Academy and working with Jordan Palmer throughout the offseason as well. What is it that you guys are concentrating on in your game and improving?
I think there's a lot of things. As a quarterback, you can never be, too comfortable with your skill set. I think there's always room for improvement, whether it's footwork, mentally, just understanding the game more. There's a lot of things I've been working on. I've been working a lot on pocket presence and footwork and not trying to, escape the pocket too much. Trying to stay in there and make the dirty throws, so to speak. And it's funny you say, Jordan, I'm actually going out there tomorrow to see him and work on some things for the weekend. But it's been a great summer, lots of learning, and that's how I like it. I love to learn the game of football, and I love to learn about the quarterback position.
We'll go standing over here on the left side.
You mentioned your friendship with Drew Locke. Just wondering, what's one thing that you wish that you could take from his game? And how much do you guys talk about the expectations that are put on you this season? Are there any friendly rivalries there?
No, we've talked a lot. Honestly, I wish I had his arm. I mean, he throws it a mile. I think from high school, from the Elite 11, him and Brandon Wimbush at Notre Dame, they might have the two strongest arms I've ever seen. But I love Drew. He's a great guy, and we were roommates together at the Elite 11 this summer and got to spend a lot of time together and just talk about the season and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. And obviously at the Manning camp, getting to hang with him and a lot of the other guys, just building friendships, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we play football and we're trying to win games, but I think along the road, I think it's the friendships and the relationships you build that kind of last longer than just playing on the field.
Go to the camera position in the far back right.
Hey, Jarrett, what's been your teammates' reaction in the Auburn locker room to UCF claiming the national championship after beating you guys?
No, it is what it is. Obviously, they're a great football team. I know Coach Scott Frost really, really well. I almost went to play for him, out of high school when he was at Oregon. And, I knew he was going to have his guys ready, and I've gotten to know Mackenzie Milton. He's a character for sure. I've gotten to know him quite a bit this summer, going to the camps and stuff as well. But it is what it is. They played a great football game, but we just laid an egg, and we're looking forward to this season and using that as motivation.
Go to the end of the front row on the left side.
How would you describe Cam Martin as he compares to Carry-On?
First of all, I love Cam. He's a great guy. We go back, way before Auburn. We were both supposed to play at Baylor together, and so I've known him since he was, 15, 16 years old. But Cam's a special player. Obviously, he's not, as big as Carry-On was last year, but Cam's got his own skill set, and he rolls with it. He's not afraid to stick his nose in and get dirty a little bit. And that's the one thing I love about him. He's super tough, and he loves the game of football, loves working hard, and I don't think you can ask more from a guy.
Got time for just a few more. We'll go to the camera platform in the middle on the right side.
To piggyback off that a little bit, obviously without Carry-On Johnson next year, it's going to be a little bit different of an offense. Aside from Cam, any other players you think that are going to kind of step up and fill that void?
Yeah, no, I think obviously we have all of our receivers back, so I think that will kind of help. You know, with losing a guy like Carry-On, because you know Carry-On was an All-American second-round pick. Anytime you lose a guy like that, you know it's going to take some time to find the replacement for him. But we got Cam, we got a lot of young guys that are really, really good, and you know a little bit inexperienced. But you know, like I said, Cam's played a lot, and you know I think we'll be just fine this year.
Go to the middle of the camera platform, right on the front row.
Jarrett, how comfortable you are with all the receivers returning, and how much production do you see from those guys out there? Because you got to be pretty comfortable seeing all those faces there.
Yeah, it makes me happy. I mean, I just throw an object to them. They catch it and they do their thing, and you know they score touchdowns. They do all the work. I just try to get it to them, and you know having Ryan Davis, Darius Slayton, Nate Craig Myers, Will Hastings, and Eli Stove, all of those guys back, it makes me feel more at ease, and you know knowing that you know these guys have a lot of experience between them, a lot of touchdown catches, and you know it's been a fun summer. Obviously, I wasn't able to go through spring very much, but it's been a fun summer with them, doing 7-on-7 and that kind of thing. And those guys they're hungry to catch a lot of touchdowns this year, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
We've got the final question over here on the second row to the right.
Talking about not being able to play in the spring, you had a minor shoulder surgery on your left shoulder way back in January. How have you recovered from that, and how much did that factor into you coming back to Auburn this year instead of heading to the NFL?
No, yeah, it's all good now, 100%. Feels great. You know, we were being very cautious during the spring, you know, with it, you know, having the surgery in January, and you know, I honestly didn't know I had torn it until after I decided to come back. So it kind of worked itself out, but you know, couldn't be more happy with it. You know, it's back to normal, and I'm ready to rock. So it'll be a fun season.
All right, thanks, Jarrett.
Thank you, guys.